Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us today. Today is Thursday, August the 20th, and this is the Dawson County Board of Commissioners work session. We'll get right into it. First up, we have a couple of public hearings. The first one is the 2026 millage rate and property tax. This is the third of three hearings. The first hearing was held at 11 a.m. on August the 6th, and the second hearing was held at 6 p.m. on August the 6th. And the 2026 millage rate adoption can be approved at the 6 o'clock meeting if the board so desires at that time. So is there anyone, I'll go ahead and open the hearing. Is there anyone here who wants to speak on the 2026 millage rate and property tax? No one signed up for that, but I just want to double check, make sure that somebody's not familiar with our sign-up rules. Seeing none, I'll close that hearing, and so the board will have the opportunity at 6 o'clock to vote on adopting the millage rate for 2027. Our second public hearing is an amendment of Chapter 10, Animals of the County Code of Ordinance. For this first of two hearings, the second hearing will be held at 6 o'clock on September the 3rd. Richard.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And our animal control staff and the county attorney's office has done a lot of due diligence, research, and we really appreciate them working hard to looking at the fact that we've got a good Chapter 10 animal control section, but it is circa 2021. It's limited. It is just about dogs, and even the section about dogs is inadequate to daily operations and enforcement. And so what we're looking at is changing some of the definitions, updating certain things, looking at guidelines for adequate shelter and adequate space, which, per county attorney's office input would not be regulations, but they are very good best practices, and they are recommendations that we'd like to add. Just as in the 400 overlay district, we have some standards and some guidelines. It is good sometimes to have best practices guidelines in place because we do get these questions. Our animal control officers do a great job in the field, and they are asked questions about, how's the best way to do this with my dog, this with my cat, something else, another domesticated animal. We got some standards, that we'd like to confirm about tethering, confirming that is prohibited anywhere in the county, confirm some standards about cruelty to animals, neglect of animals, sanitation, public animal transfers and selling animals in public, nuisances, welfare checks, consequences of impounded and unclaimed animals, hoarding, possessing dangerous or vicious dogs. We do recognize as staff that the judge is the ultimate decision maker if there's a worst case scenario. And so the county attorney has given us good input about the limitations where staff can issue citations, and then a magistrate court judge, depending on the circumstance, can choose what the next option is. But these are really updates to really bring what's already a good ordinance to be more robust. And again, we've gotten a lot of great input from the county attorney's office. What you're looking at in front of you, I'll be glad to write down right now if you'd like any changes that you see, or in the next couple of weeks. I'll be glad to sit down with anybody who wants to meet in person or over the phone or by email, wants to go back and forth and give us input. This document can be changed up until the 11th hour, which would be September 3rd for the voting session. The county attorney's office has given us a little more slight revisions, so what you'll see for the September 3rd version will be a little different, but not much. So in general, I think this is going to be an excellent upgrade and give our animal control folks the tools that they need, and then also our citizens some information that, again, while not everything will be regulatory, even at good guidelines, I think it'll be very helpful.
Questions for Richard? I did have a chance to read the whole thing, so I am very happy with how you present these type of things where you give us the old and the new and the takeout, and of course, the attorney's office for their input as well. So that makes it a lot simpler for a simple-minded person like myself who's trying to read through it and see what the changes are. So I do appreciate your diligence with your staff and the attorney's office to make that easily understandable for us. And at this time, I haven't seen anything that jumps out at me. Anyone else have any questions? Thank you, sir. So at this time, I'll open up the hearing. No one signed up, but I'll ask again, is there anyone here who wishes to speak on the amendment of Chapter 10 Animals of the County Code of Ordinances? Anyone? Seeing none, I'll close that hearing. As stated, this is the first of two hearings. The second hearing will be held on September the 3rd. We'll move on into new business. First up, we have presentation of FY 2027 Bryan State Crisis Intervention Program funding application for treatment services and Treatment Services Director Heather Harrington. Heather.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Treatment Court is seeking approval for the ratification of the application of the Burn Skip Grant in the amount of $39,000. This is a grant that we currently have that's about to end, so this would really continue it for another year. And what this grant does is provide peer support services through Jay's Place for the Treatment Court, and there's no match required for this grant.
Questions of Ms. Harrington? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next up, we have presentation of request for funding for new fire hydrants, Emergency Service Director Troy Lease. Troy.
Good afternoon. Again, as part of Etowah Water and Sewers upgrades, they're putting in new hydrants along Etowah River and SeaTick. And so we're requesting funding in the amount of $97,200 to install 13 new fire hydrants.
That's the impact fee.
And that will be funded by impact fees.
Questions for the chief? Thank you, sir. You have the next one, presentation of request for funds to furnish new Fire Station 3.
So Fire Station 3 is well on its way. We're slated to open mid to late September, depending on weather. With that, we would like to request $65,000 for furnishings. The initial estimate for the furnishings was $150,000, and we didn't like that number. So Hannah and I sat down and worked very hard to, we did a lot of shopping on Amazon to bring the cost down. And the true cost right now is $55,000 with the contingency, and we plan on keeping it as close to that as possible.
Questions for the chief, and that's Splosh 7.
Yeah, that's leftover money from the burn building.
Okay.
And you wanting to move this forward, I see?
Yes, sir, because the station's gonna be done in a couple of weeks, we'd like to start ordering, and that way if we run into an issue where something's not available, we have to order something else, there's a delay, we're not delaying opening the station because we're waiting for beds or something.
I think this whole room knows where I feel about moving things forward with a capital expenditure associated with it. I mean, we've known that the thing's gonna open up in a short amount of time. I just don't like that the board is put in a position where we have to make funding decisions. We're in the middle of budget. We have other people that are asking for a lot of furniture that we've had conversations about earlier today, and we've known that this is part of the process. So.
It's only a request.
No, I get it. No, I get it. I get it. Thank you.
All right, so you've heard the request. What do you want to do, board?
You said it's coming out of SPLOST?
Yeah, it's leftover funds from the burn building.
Okay. I mean, Chris, I understand what you're saying, but I think we have to, I'm good with moving it forward.
Three? All right, we're good. All right, we move that forward then. All right, let's see. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Next up, we have presentation of Dawson Grove Conservation Easement. Richard, you got that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So sometimes on developments, we just need to check off the boxes and make sure we finalize a project. What we're talking about here is Dawson Forest Road, Dawson Grove subdivision, 2021, BOC approved rezoning with conditions. And part of that was that conservation area was required, which is about 50 acres. And in the zoning condition, it said it could either be donated to Dawson County or put into a conservation easement. Conservation easement is preferred, and I'm glad they went with that. I'm also glad that they had the easement prepared by Gerard and Davis. Makes it easy on us. So again, this is just finalizing the documents for Dawson Grove, which is a finished-out subdivision, and county staff has received the draft. But this is between Century Communities, the developer, and Dawson County for this 50 acres, and there's no objections.
Questions for Richard?
They retain ownership, they're just putting it in, or does it transfer over to us as ownership?
They're going to retain ownership, the property owners group, so
Yeah.
it'll be Century Communities transferring it over to the Property Owners Association.
Okay, thank you.
Also want to thank you for following up on all these stipulations that we put up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, appreciate Robert Drury as Public Works Director. He has been working great with the Community Development Department on some of these final changes, final steps whether it's engineering or erosion control, final reviews over the last year. We've checked all the boxes. This is one where Mr. Drury really wanted to make sure that it got completed, and Gerard and Davis has done a great job, so my hat's off to both of them.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up, we'll move up presentation of summary change order with Bartow Paving for the construction of roundabout at Shoal Creek and State Route 136. Joey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'm somewhat pinch hitting for Robert Drury tonight. He's out of state. This item is a change order request. It requires a little explanation, and I will attempt to do that the best of my abilities. The board approved a contract with Bartow Paving on December 19th of 2024 for the construction of the roundabout on Shoal Creek Road at State Route 136 in the amount of $2,085,040, $2,085,000, and that was approved at that time in 2024 with no contingency. There was a change order on October 22nd of 25 that was approved in the amount of $13,674. This was related to a contract concrete revision that was requested by DOT on that project. And again, I think the board is familiar with that project. It's just down the road here. It turned out very well. There was an issue as we were finalizing out the contract, which is the topic tonight. The work has been completed, and Bartow has submitted a final pay request that included a summary of final payment for quantities that were actually installed. There was a substantial increase in the quantities for pay item 441-070, which was the cobblestone pattern concrete, which included reinforced tie bars. I think most of that product is right in the center of the roundabout. It has to be a special kind of concrete, if someone goes over the curb and whatnot have you. The bid, which is the issue here, when this was bid back in 2024, on the bid calculation sheet, it read a total of 8 square yards, but actually on the plans that were designed by the engineer, it called out for 532 yards. Obviously, that's a huge difference, and apparently it was a error on the bid sheet, which is what brings us here today. The bids were solid bids. They were balanced bids. That's the word I'm looking for. All the contractors bid the correct quantities that were asked for, but we had the wrong quantity on there. In actuality, when construction was completed, 485 square yards were installed, which was for a total of, ran the contract over by $119,655.45. The net result of the contract pay items that decreased and the pay items that increased including the pay item for the cobblestone pattern concrete as stated in the total contract price increased by $129,910.52, $129,910, which was a total increase of 6.2%. 2% over the original concrete price. Typically, as I noted earlier, when a construction contract is awarded, there's a contingency, a 10% contingency was included in the board's motion to award. For whatever reason, this was not the case on this project. The board discussed it. We went back and listened from 2024. The board discussed including a contingency in the event the contractor required overruns, but the minutes do not reflect that the contingency was added to this award. Therefore, staff is requesting the board approve this change order to the contract with Bartow. Again, just all these quantities have been verified, field verified. We've gone through them 3 or 4 or 5 times to make sure that we're not paying for something we didn't get. And we did get this, these quantities. It was an error on a very lengthy, bid calculation sheet. I'm very comfortable that we are have investigated this matter. This has actually been a topic for 3 or 4 months with staff trying to get this to make sure it's correct. And with that, I would ask the board approve this, consider approving this change order for Bartow.
Questions?
I guess we don't have a choice in it, but my question reverts back to who was responsible for putting the bid package together? Was that our contractor that we pay for that? Was it LBJ or what the name of it?
This was actually, you could put that responsibility on several of us. Typically, the engineer of record prepares the bid document, but we are responsible for verifying it. Atlas, again, not to put down on them, they're a good firm, but Atlas Engineering was the representative for this project, but we should have checked the quantities a little closer. So yeah, we can all take a little bit for that.
And I know you said that we had talked about the county control contingency. If we had put this 10%, the typical 10% county control contingency, it would not be back here.
That's correct.
For us today. So it falls within
Oh, yes.
our typical allowance.
Yeah, our 10% would have been a little over $200,000.
Other questions? Thank you, sir. All right, next up, we have presentation of board appointments, Department of Family and Children's Services, Tina Brady, reappointment term September 2026 through June 2031. Nikki Mincy, same term. Jeff Perry, same reappointment term. I'll present those for your consideration at our next meeting. County Manager report, Joy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very brief, just to note that your flash report for the month of July is in your packet. I did want to make one note about the flash report. It's statistics and graphs and charts to keep us all updated. We do track every month, every year, the amount of residential building permits. And if you compare July of 25 to July of 26, residential building permits have decreased by 63%. In July of 25, we had 63. And in July of 26, we had 23. So we're definitely seeing a little slowdown in residential growth. Also, Mr. Chairman, I do have a need for a very brief executive session tonight related to land acquisition.
Okay. County Attorney report, Ms. Davis.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I don't have a public report, but I can give you an update on an executive session topic under pending litigation. So if you would make a motion concerning land acquisition and litigation, that would be appropriate. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so at this time, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session for land acquisition and potential litigation. Motion by Commissioner Gaines, seconded by Commissioner Stowers. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. So take about 2 or 3 minutes. We'll meet back in executive session. Thank you for your attendance. We'll be back at 6 o'clock.